We have a really rare event happening in our sky this end of May, May the 30th through to about June the 4th, 2023. We haven't seen this since the May of 1929. We won't see it again until 2059. So you're really going to pay attention to rare sky events. They're going to make global shifts, not just personal. We're going to cover all of that in this video ahead. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Jupiter, fairy godfather, Santa Claus, prosperity, wealth, and luck. Basically, guru, the good guy. He's going to bump into, collide with Rahu, the North Node, the place where the eclipses happen. This is an energy that is very different from Jupiter. But in the positive side of it, Rahu tends to blow up, expand, and agitate and enervate whatever he touches. And as Jupiter is a benefic planet, a theory is it makes the goodness even better. This can also be a time in our lives, though, individually and collectively, while we see some massive and exciting sudden changes to do with the area of the sky in which this is happening. Some that can involve some major shifts in the financial markets as well as the technology markets. We're going to go into this and technology advancements as well as news about medicine and healing and stuff like that. So we're going to get into why all this is true. And I'm going to talk about your sign. I want you to listen for your rising sign for the most accurate delineation. And don't forget, it's not all about what happens on the 30th of May or the 4th of June. It's what this is inciting as a new shift, a directional shift in the lives of many around the world, as well as in your own chart. So before we get going, let me tell you a bit about who I am, because if you are new to my channel, my name is Lori Lothian. I am the Hellenistic astrologer using whole sign houses. I'm using the Western tropical zodiac, though I will be talking a bit today about the Vedic or Indian astrology as well, to talk about Ashwani Nakshatra, the lunar mansion where this is occurring. That's going to be happening whether or not we're using sidereal or tropical zodiac. So stay tuned for a bit of that as well. If you are new to my channel, please hit the like button and subscribe, or at least give me a try. And if you want to know what I do, I teach courses. I have a Sky Reader class that's just finishing up, but I teach it every year. You can probably jump into the fall cohort if I'm going to teach it again in the fall. That's for beginners, and it's a great class to time your own life and be your own best. Be an astrologer, time your best life. And I have a newsletter down below. I have so much down below. You might want to check it out. I have my Patreon community who gets every bit of content ahead of the curve before the general public without any ads for $5 a month, and has the choice to meet me once or twice a month in a Zoom call. So you might be interested in that as well. I want to do a quick plug. I'm wearing a pair of earrings. I just got back from lunch on May the 23rd with a lovely woman named Milena. And these are her earrings, and she has an Etsy site, and I love her stuff. I've shared her earrings with you guys before, and I am definitely going to be sharing more about her jewelry. So I'll put a link to her Etsy site below. Honestly, she's amazing. I live in Vancouver, Canada. Had a great lunch with her, and she gifted me these earrings, and now I'm sharing them with you. All right, so let's talk a bit about what we're going through here. I want to talk about history, if you bear with me. If you're new to my channel, you know that I like to talk about history and mundane astrology, the big picture for the collective, and then we go into, then we go into your personal story. So if you don't like the personal, the general stuff, jump ahead, but I encourage you to stick around because you're going to learn some ideas and concepts. They may be very useful for you when you understand how this works in your sky. All right, so let's get going and talk about the world first. So just before I get going on what will this mean for the world, let's talk about where it's happening. I almost forgot. Like, it's happening in Taurus at 3 degrees of Taurus. That means that the North Node is moving toward Jupiter, and Jupiter is moving a little faster towards the North Node. These things move in different directions. The North and South Node, in this case, the North Node, Rahu, they are not planets, they are mathematical positions, but in Indian or Vedic astrology, they're considered to be just as powerful as planetary bodies. So this is 3 degrees of Taurus. If you have planets near 3 degrees of Taurus, or sun, moon, and rising sign near there, I have my Venus at 0 Taurus, woo me, or if you have Scorpio, Aquarius, or Leo placements anywhere, let's say in the first 5 degrees of Taurus, those signs, or Taurus, you're definitely getting the reverb. It's really going to be impacting you, especially your sun, moon, and rising at the first 5 degrees of Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo. Those are the angular 9-degree away houses. Flow in exciting ease comes to you if you have planets in the first 5 5 degrees of the earth signs, Capricorn and Virgo. All right. And then there's a flowing sextile from people with the energy coming from the flanking 2 houses over, right, which is going to be Pisces and Cancer. So there you go. And then the other people are just kind of got their popcorn or watching the movie. They're in aversion in conjunction a semi-sextile. So let's roll with this story, right? Let's roll with the story. First of all, wow, this is intense energy, but we won't necessarily feel it on the day of, or the days of, really, the days of, but we will feel something there. There is this positivity that can come from this, particularly because this event in the sky is being witnessed by the planet Saturn and the planet Venus, and they're both watching this event from positions away that are 60 degrees, which are positive. I'll show you the sky so you can see what it looks like before we talk about how this impacts maybe the world. So some people are looking at this as a luckiest day of the year kind of energy. Some people are looking at it with trepidation. There's a lot of debate in astrology circles about, is this good or is this bad? Let me just say this. I think it's mostly good. And the reason I do is that the energy of Jupiter up at the top of the sky, and I'll annotate Jupiter, right? So we can all look at Jupiter with a little circle around him, and the North Node up there are going to be having a witness to what's happening. And that's Saturn. Saturn is witnessing this. And why do we care? Saturn, for the first time in the sign of Pisces since 30 years ago, is in a witnessing position called a sextile, or 2 houses away, or 11th house from where Jupiter and the North Node are sitting. And this placement is positive, flowing, and lucky. It is the nature of Venus in the Hellenistic tradition. Sextiles bring good things, flow, ease, luck, and grace as well. So also, what else is good about this? Well, guess what? Saturn is sitting in the mansion or house or the place that belongs to Jupiter. Jupiter in ancient astrology is the ruler of Pisces. It is not Neptune's territory. But if you want to go with modern rulership, Neptune's at home there as well. And this is Jupiter's house as well. So what would Saturn do? If I was in your house, what would I do? I'd be trying to please you. Can I take out the garbage? What do you need? Can I walk the dog? How often do I water your plants? So Saturn must behave well in Jupiter's house, in order to please Jupiter. Jupiter has instructions for Saturn. This means, of course, that then Saturn is going to help Jupiter. And later on in the month, we're going to have a sextile, but in the month of June, between Saturn and Jupiter, as Jupiter catches up to where Saturn is sitting, because Jupiter is a faster moving planet. And that's a real cooperation between those two. Yeah, it's like they're going to work together. So stable expansion, growth with foundational legs to stand on, shifts that are significant but also enduring, a stabilization of prosperity, things like that. Individual charts, I'll read those for you differently. So we have Saturn pleasing Jupiter. Jupiter is with a difficult energy, the North Node, which can be turbulent, which can be greedy, which can be striving, which can bring tamasic or low-level vibrations to the story. Whereas Sattvic or super chill or guru-like, I'm awful in equanimity, peace, truth, and justice, Jupiter has a whole different energy. But I do think that Jupiter, because he's being supported by Saturn in his home sign, is got the bit of the upper hand here, just a little bit, and maybe stronger than Rahu. And in Hellenistic tradition, there is a suggestion that Rahu can just make Jupiter's beneficence, goodness, luck, prosperity, and all good things larger, just expand them. There can be temptations often with Rahu, and it's probably a good idea to try to take this with a grain of witness observer during the 30th of the month to the 4th of June, and try not to get carried away with anything, not to let yourself lose your head, and because Rahu is a serpent of a head without the tail attached. The tail is down at the bottom. That's the South Node, right? And they're always opposite each other, south and north. Second of all, why do I like this guy? More or less, sort of. I like that Venus here is also in a benefic perspective to the event. She's also 2 houses or away, or you can go 11 from, or whatever, circle the thing. What I like about this a lot, what I really like about this a lot, is that she's a benefic in a neutral dignity, and she's able to witness what's going on. It's called a whole sign aspect. It's not by degree, but she's able to watch back over her shoulder what's going on behind her and what she's seeing behind her, because she's already been over there, right? She's going this way. through this diagram, she can witness over her shoulder Jupiter. So she's giving her benefic support to this event in a flowing way, and so is Saturn. So that's my argument that this isn't the most catastrophic thing. However, I have to let you know about the world events. Okay, so we're going to go back to world events now. I'm going to stop the share and say that 1929, I believe it was in May, these two came together in the same place in the sky, and it led to the stock market crash later in the fall, September of 1929. Don't forget, the event days that I'm giving you aren't what matters. It's what is this new zeitgeist, this thing coming into being. Don't say nothing happened on the 30th of May. It probably won't. It could, but it may not. So this is 1929, May the 7th, when this occurred. And this is also a time, 1929, I believe, let me remember, I believe Uranus was going to go into the sign of Taurus shortly after that. In fact, what the hell? Let's look together at 1929, because also we have the presence of Uranus here, and that makes a big deal. And I think we have to consider that if it's just like 1929, then we might be concerned. Also, to go back in history, give you a rhythm here. This happened in 1632, 1668, 1799, 1893, 1929, 2023. Some of those are 30-year cycles. Some of them are about 90 to 100-year cycles. It's inconsistent, if you not noticed. So there's not a steady pace, but the drumbeat is on a rhythm. And I'm going to talk about some events from 1893 and 1799 that also suggest potential some financial market calamity. But with Saturn stabilizing things, I'm a little more hopeful than otherwise. But here we go. Let's go back just for fun to 1929. Okay, just like, can you bear with me and let's just do it and see what is that going on in that Uranus story? Well, it helps if you're not going by days, right? As you might notice, I was moving back to 1929, day by day by day, which will be endless. So while I'm waiting for this whole thing to scoot back to 1929, I will mention what happened in the past. All right, the New York Stock Exchange is, oops, well, that was fast. Let's go forward. We just had a gnarly energy on algal new moon on the sun of the New York Stock Exchange on May the 19th. And this energy is following in the wake of the algal infused eclipse. Of course, it is the birthday of the New York Stock Exchange, and it's born with the sun on algal, which can be a well star, but it's also a calamity star. So I wanted to say Uranus, what was he doing in 1929, And that's going to help us see the big picture. Because if he's there, and I believe he might be, there he is. He's in Aries. Okay, so he's not. So this is the North Node is coming together with Jupiter in 1929. There they are, around 20 degrees of Taurus. And Uranus is not there yet. I think Uranus will enter in 1934, 35 into Taurus. So it's not exactly the same as it was. But as I go through some historical events that happened with North Node and Rahu in Taurus co-joined, all right, remember they're always different. 1929, it set off a market tumble, but before the tumble of the Great Depression that followed it as well, what we experienced was an effervescence or an irrational exuberance in the stock market speculation that happened May 1929 until the big crash energy hit in the fall of 1929. So maybe Rahu North Node can accelerate some sort of stock market liftoff. I'm not sure. Because also in 1929, Pluto was moving through Cancer, which is the part of the chart that represents the financial markets in the United States Sibley chart. This time, Pluto will be backtracking, moving backwards, okay, on June 11th into Capricorn, which is a part of the finance markets as well, that second house of the United States Sibley chart. So at both times, it's going to tap the markets. Now, is it a bit different? Cancer is like, more like the markets, the stock markets, and Capricorn is more like just the cash positions of the country, the cash solidity of the country. But they're both going to be 1929 and this year into the market territory. In 1893, remember this happened in 1893, the New York Stock Exchange had a panic sell-off, all right? And that panic sell-off led to a depression. And that happened in March of 1893. So I'm just giving you some similarities. In 1799, there was a gold rush. Yes, USA gold rush was on. And that was a North Node Jupiter conjunction. I expect, and there was a quasi war that was going on there with something to do with Russia and somewhere else that started around that time. So gold. Maybe the price of gold will escalate. Instead of a gold rush, it's like going to be a massive jack up in the price of gold following the North Node Rahu conjunction. So it's really hard to predict. Is it good or is it bad? In my year ahead forecast, I interpret it for each sign as a positive development, as an expansion of the luck in a certain part of your chart. And I'm going to do it that way today because it feels to me, it does feel to me that with Jupiter being watched over by Saturn, stabilizing things in a positive way from his own house, with Venus, the lord of the house where this is happening, also watching over in a benefic whole sign sextile, there's enough support from other planets, okay, to support this being positive. And while Pluto is still in Aquarius and technically a square to this event, it's definitely not an aspectual square. Pluto is at 0. Oh, it is. Pluto is at 0 Aquarius, but he's just about to slide into Capricorn. So it is an aspectual square. Yeah, I forgot where he was. You can't make this stuff up. Astrologers. Okay, we're going to do the all signs. So just to remind you that there is, I'm back in 1929, and let's going to go back to our current sky, if you don't mind bearing with me as we zip through. So we do have some temporary tension from Pluto, who will be at 0 degrees of Aquarius, and he will be in a square to the Rahu North Node. Now, Pluto is wealth and power. He is in a square. He does connect to those themes of power, wealth, control, especially top-down or autocratic or tyrannical or dictatorial control. So let's go back and look at it one more time before we do all signs. Okay, I hope this is making you dizzy. It's making me dizzy. And we'll go to the month. Hang in there, guys. I'm with it. Just got back from lunch, so I'm just trying to get this out for you in time. So still on June 4th, we see that these are just coming off of the conjunction, and we see that Pluto is in the sign of Aquarius at 0 degrees, and he is squaring. So there's a bit of gnarly tension there. There could be some controls, rules, group rules coming into play for the square from Pluto and Jupiter's justice and law and legal matters, and it's going to feel maybe very tense if something like that occurs. You never know. And with Pluto opposite Venus, well, there is a square to Jupiter and the North Node. That's going to be happening closer to June the 4th. Venus is the goddess of money, and she rules the labor markets in the US Sibley chart. That's the 6th house. And so money, power, control, law, legal matters, intensity may be unfolding in the sky in the first week of June. This could also be then turbulence in the stock markets and the banking industry as well. And anything else I want to tell you about this as I get ready to do all signs? Yes. In the Indian astrology from India, Vedic astrology, Ashwani Nakshatra is where this is happening. That Nakshatra in the sidereal zodiac is 0 to 13 degrees of Aries. Now, the reason I'm bringing it up is it's called the horse-headed twins, okay, who as physicians to the gods performed medical miracles. I'm just reading my notes. Performed medical miracles. Physician to the gods, medical miracles. Rahu can be associated with advancement, the cutting edge of something, including technology, especially in Taurus. It's possible. We're going to have some cutting edge miracle knowledge, like we found the cure for cancer, or technologies to do with medical health and science could be breaking through. And I say news cycles because Uranus and Mercury are together and will be perfectly co-joined on June 4th as this thing is also happening. So some kind of OMG shock and awe news. I mean, you can see it right there. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see shocking, exciting news, Jupiter North Node, and know that Ashwani, where Jupiter North Node are sitting, is about the healer of the gods, the medical miracles god. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's some announcement of a medical miracle cure, technology, insight through research. We finally found the cure for blank, something like that. And then let's get going and do all signs. Thanks for listening. If you're new to my channel, hit the like button. If you're watching the live premiere, please, of course, if you hit the like button, it helps the channel grow. Thanks to all my regulars, L.A. Taylor, Misbehaving, the Pharaoh Writer, Crystalline Alchemist, the Herbal Empress, Jupiter 8, Stephen the Jupiterian. I know I'm forgetting some of you. I always do. Oh, Purple Table Tarot, big shout out. I love your channel. I'm just trying to catch wind of what you're up to. The Bold and Beautiful Tarot. I have a lot of tarot people on my regular live premiere chats, and I always say hi in the shout out while I'm recording this before the premiere. Okay, so let's get talking about each sign. And I'm going to just take the annotation off. And I don't know if I'll get rid of that part of it. So let me just start over. Stop the share. I think it lets me clear the decks. And I think I'm going to go around the wheel and show it to you, because it's not like we're talking about the moon, which is fast moving, right? So I'll go through the all signs here. We're not going to spend a lot of time because it's highly unpredictable, but I will give you my best guess about what this means for your sun, moon, or rising sign, with the reminder that if you have sun, moon, or rising anywhere in the first 5 degrees of Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, you feel it very, very, very intensely. It's a big shift for you. If you have, or any planet in those signs at those degrees, but particularly the more intimate inner planets such as Venus, Mercury, sun, moon, and all of that. And second of all, if you have planets, therefore, in the trine relationships of houses Virgo or Capricorn, first 5 degrees, you also get a lot of juice from this. Sun, moon, or rising, Capricorn, sun, moon, or rising, Virgo, sun, moon, or rising, first 5 degrees, and then also the sextiles of Cancer and watery Pisces. Anything in the first 5 degrees of those signs, you also get a lot of energy from the sky. And then we have the aversions, okay? We have Gemini and Aries, and we have Libra, and we have Sag. Those are in semi-sextiles and in conjuncts. They're considered aversions in ancient astrology, and they're non-aspectual relationships, and they aren't being influenced much by this event, just so you know. So that's all I'm going to say. That's how it rolls in this stuff. So let's talk about each sign. What should we start with? I think we'll start with Aries. Why? Because everyone knows Aries goes first. I'm an Aries, so we go first. I'm Aries sun and moon. People always ask me, I always tell you what I am. I'm not shy about my chart. I don't hide my chart from the world. I'm Aries sun, moon, and Aquarius rising. Let's get going. Well, number one, Aries, you can see that you're the aversion, but it is your second house of earnings, so let's not worry about it too much. But it's not so much about a degree-based aspect, so don't worry about the degree of your Aries sun, moon, or rising. Instead, look at where it's happening. It's your second house of money, earnings, possessions, self-worth, self-value, what you eat and put in your mouth, sometimes your childhood, family. What is going on here is there's a news. It can be sudden, exciting, shocking. Yay! Uranus and Mercury connected to things going on between the 30th of May and June the 4th. It may unfold over the week or two after. This is an interesting time. Mercury is a visible planet in the sky, so he's doing a lot with that shock and awe Uranus. What kind of exciting, unexpected, sudden news may occur in your money and finance house, resources and possessions, etc.? It definitely can be positive because Venus is loving it up from the 4th house, and this is her house where it's happening. She's watching over her house with her, looking over her shoulder here, right? And she's saying, okay, make it a good one over there, Jupiter and Rahu. And so a lucky break it for home, property, land, real estate, rentals even, that's going to be very positive for you and impact your finances in a very positive way. Or something to do with your mom and dad, because the house of the mom and dad is where Venus is traveling, benefits you as an Aries, sun, moon, and rising in a very positive way. And then you can also see that you have the good old Saturn up there looking positively down at this event. And he's pretty excited by, keeping tabs on Jupiter because he's visiting Jupiter's house. And so he says, let's stabilize some financial gain. Let's also, if it's financial gain, does it involve foreign shores and lands? If you need to get let go of an addiction or self-defeating habit pattern, because things you put in your mouth belong to the second house, then this can be a real impetus with stability and ease to release and let go of your vape habit or whatever else it is you shouldn't be doing, eating all that ice cream, the gluten that you don't need, and you may be able to make a breakthrough as a result of this energy. But the bottom line is it could definitely a big chunk of money could be coming at you, or unexpected surge of money, or some financial benefit financially. Don't forget that also 4th house can involve legacy wealth, and Venus can be women, when maybe you're going to get a bequeathment from a woman, not usually mom, okay, because mom would be the moon, but you never know, because during some of this, the moon will be traveling through your 8th house, which is, of course, connected to inheritances. So there can be a female inheritance or money bequeathed from a woman, but also just favors from females that benefit you financially, close to home, or from your childhood, or connected to your family of origin, etc. Because Mercury rules the house of rentals, pets and animals that you take home as pets, and he's kind of mushed up in this thing. Some of you may get some opportunities to rent a place, to be a tenant, to be a landlord, or some good developments around being able to pay off a debt or get a new pet. But it's, again, more bigger energy than just small stuff I'm mentioning. It's kind of like a, whoa, you know, you lived through it. You weren't around 1929 or 259, some blast of positive momentum in your money story. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. If you're a Taurus, this energy is going to be all about you. This is in the house of yourself, your body. If it's your sun, it can be about your career, moon about your mom. Moon can be about home and safety, and sun can be a purpose as well, and father figures. But that's why we like to look more clearly at the rising sign, because it's definitely all about you and always in your life. Having this energy in the house of you is very expansive. You may be careful here. I will give you a warning, because there's almost like the pride goeth before the fall. Watch out for the extensive and almost grasping intensity that can come from Rahu. But Jupiter is also the benefic, and he's getting support from Saturn in your 11th house of good spirit. Saturn here is like, oh, friends who are going to help you, benefit you, greater gains from your career, some wishes and dreams and hopes coming true. Saturn also wants to stabilize your goals and make them more realistic, and he'll be doing that for 3 years. But during this time, he's sort of helping out Jupiter, because he's in Jupiter's house, and telling Jupiter, you need some help in this expansion of the Taurus self. Let me make sure it comes through friends and allies and great gains in the career, and maybe even a little bit of the old pennies from heaven. You can also see that Venus is supporting this from the 3rd house of siblings. And oh, by the way, Saturn is in the house of the elder sibling, Venus in the house of siblings in general, or a younger sibling. So you've got some sibling support coming to your sky, Taurus. And if you're someone with siblings, you can lean into and look forward to that kind of energy where these people will benefit you. If you want to take a journey, especially if it's not too far away, a little local trip kind of thing. And not, or, you know, within your country at the very least, for romance, love, and pleasure. It's going to expand your sense of greatness, who you think you are, and it may inspire you, because honestly, Jupiter, Rahu, and then Mercury and Uranus, a download, an insight, an aha, a major breakthrough idea about your big dreams, goals, and wishes that you wish to have in your life. Or if you're a creative writer type or communicator, some breakthrough in 3rd house matters, to do with some beautiful artistic creative writing project or creation, or an idea for a new website, or something to do with your online presence. Certainly it can blow you up and give you a little micro celebrity if you're one of those Tauruses who are in the online world and you are just blowing up bigger and better. You're like the, what do you call it? The Pillsbury Doughboy now. You're like the, you know, that thing that blows up. Anyway, I can't think of what I mean. The Goodyear blimp. Anyway, it's good for you. You're blowing up in a beautiful, sensuous, attractive, charismatic, Venusian way in the social media land, on the website land, the blog and stuff land, if that's a part of your reality. It's also really good if you want to learn something that you really love doing, and you may be blowing up to find out you have a natural ability. I'm just, you know, guessing here. Alrighty. If you are a Gemini, sun, moon, but most accurate probably is rising sign, you're going to find that this energy of Rahu North Node in your 12th house is very subtle. You are one of the aversion signs, but it's amazing for insights, dreams at night, downloads, trance states. I mean, honestly, pick a day, you know, May 30th to June the 3rd, and do something unusual. Go to a float tank, get a hypnosis regression, get a dream journal by your bed, get ready to download like the anti-gravity formula, or something to do with a cure for cancer, because don't forget Ashwani Nakshatra is here. You're definitely looking at like something really breaking through your subconscious, unconscious mind. You could have past life flashbacks. You could receive cosmic intelligence or something. And it may inform certain other areas of your life, because this is happening with support from Saturn in your purpose and career house, in your reputation house, where he's trying to give you sober-minded, realistic ways to develop your long-term career in alignment with your greater vision of what's meaningful and what you really want. You'll be doing that alignment until 2026. And then we have Venus supporting you from the second house of earnings and self-worth, self-value, possessions, and food style. Again, like another sign I just mentioned, this is really good for reining in any overindulgences in your eating habits or the way you drink and eat things that aren't good for you, as well as breaking through any addictions and self-sabotaging content where you're your own worst enemy. Venus here, as well as Saturn, can get rid of enemies in your life. If you have hidden enemies who've been like sabotaging you secretly, then they're going to get like blasted out of the story in one way or the other. Maybe the boss fires that gnarly coworker who gossips about you, or Venus gets rid of somebody who's been undermining your finances or something like that. But all said and done, it's a very interior process, but it does spill out a bit to some positive money developments for you. It's happening in Venus's house, and she happens to be in your money and earnings house during the blow up of Jupiter and Rahu. Finally, bed pleasures are here. If you're into your bed pleasures, this could blow them up, and you would have some superior, transcendent, amazing bed pleasures. And that's all I'm going to say about that. If you're a Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign, this is going to be occurring, this Jupiter-Rahu conjunction, which we haven't seen since 1929, in your 11th house of good spirit, which is a very positive house, one of the best houses in the zodiac, along with 5 and 9. It brings luck. It brings financial success through career gains. It brings reputation, increase, influence, and sometimes fame. And it certainly does bring, this 11th house, favors from people who wish to help you, like big brothers, allies, friends. It is the house of the elder sibling. If you're a Cancer rising, you may have some massive benefit from an elder sibling or from a friend who acts like an older sibling who's supporting you. So allies, benefactors, patrons, all that, people supporting you. You can have your dreams and goals for your life blow up here and become larger than you thought that you were capable of. You may revision your life. Now, there is also news and information because of Mercury and because of Uranus. So you may get a call from a friend, news from a sibling, exciting, sudden, shocking news from a sibling that's positive, possibly about some money situation as well in their life that benefits you. With Saturn, okay, in the 9th house of God, foreign lands and travel, and stabilizing your deeper dharmic desires for life to be in alignment with your true purpose and your goals. Saturn's helping you do that, or back to school. I mean, Saturn in the 9th house can go back to college or university. He'll be there for 3 years. Win in a legal matter over time, or get a book published with a traditional publisher. So with Neptune there, it's traditional but woo, like, what do you call it? Hierophant Publishing or Llewellyn or Hay House. But if you're any kind of Cancer rising looking for a book deal, this is definitely looking good. Saturn is going to say maybe a friend, an ally, or somebody comes out of the woodwork and passes your content on, or we're trying to support stable gains in your finances and your dreams and wishes through this transit. Also, Venus is in the house of you, and you should be feeling oh so beautiful, pretty, oh so handsome, oh so likable, oh so good about your life and who you are. This transit happens every year, and it's still playing out during this time frame of May the 30th to June the 3rd. And so open up yourself to this goodness. You are the one who has the luck. Venus brings luck. She's a luck goddess in the house of you. You're lucky. Saturn's in a luck house too, and a Lakshmi, wealth and prosperity house. It definitely looks like you could get wealth and prosperity out of this, but again, could it come from a sibling, especially one that is elder? All right, so keep that in mind. If not, it's just some kind of unexpectedly positive, great gain that you're coming through your career path with, and you're suddenly experience a little bit more flow and glow and a glow up. And lastly, maybe it's an opportunity to take a trip to a foreign shore, but you've been there before, or you feel familiar with it, because Saturn is like, traditional or, stable energy. And maybe it's like to go back on a trip to a place you've been before. But the exciting news that you won the trip, or you get to go, is coming through your sky with this transit. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. First of all, in the sky, this is important. I remember I mentioned earlier that the angular houses of Aquarius, Scorpio, and Taurus and Leo get the most bang for their buck. So Leo rising, sun and moon people, you are going to get a lot of energy from this. Most accurately, of course, maybe first 5 or 6 degrees of Leo, sun, moon, and rising. But I think all Leos will feel it. Okay. It could be a massive glow up, a massive expansion in your career or your reputation zone or your ambitious success directions. And with the Mercury Uranus news, exciting, sudden, maybe shocking, but positive, I hope, news coming from your 10th house. And you may get a raise or a promotion or a new sense of visibility, or some positive things are happening up here. No doubt about it. If you are looking at that Saturn in the 8th house of chunky money, inheritances, tax rebates, shared money with your spouse, this could look really good. I mean, Pluto in the house of the spouse is squaring this. So possibly there's some intensity and tension with a spouse. But if you were trying to get alimony, spousal support, or widow money or something, widower money, this could look very good. Otherwise, for the most part, Saturn in the 8th house will help you with your career and your money story, both. Okay, career and money up levels, but more like the banking, the money that makes money, that kind of thing. Good for stock investments if they're going to take off and help fortify your career, but don't take financial or medical advice from any astrologer on YouTube, and that includes me. You do see that Venus is in your 12th house, and that is she's looking back over her shoulder at her Taurus domain, and she's making sure that everyone's well behaved. She can sextile the Taurus domain, which is positive. She can tell them to make sure the plants are watered. And so she's doing her best in your 12th house to do that. But the 12th house is foreign shores, foreign lands, and revenue from foreign lands and shores, and business abroad. If that is a part of your life, you could have a boost in the business aspect, the money pouring in from some overseas source or people from the foreign shores that you're working with. And Jupiter will exceed your expectations and bring you greater career reputation gains as well with Venus's help. Pay attention to your dreams at night, because ultimately the deep unconscious and the subconscious can go to the 12th house, and you may find yourself having some sort of superior insights from dreams, especially if it's a dream of a woman telling you what to do. Venus is the females of the world, dream life or real or otherwise. All right, moving on to the next story. So if you are a Virgo, like my daughter, sun, moon, and rising, and my best friend Sylvia, then what you get going on in here is this. This is a flow called an earth trine from your 9th house to you. So it's very positive, no matter what. This could be a massive expansion of your success in academic environments, foreign lands and travel, book publishing, religious and spiritual community, court and legal matters. All of these are going to really benefit you, not just in the short term. Remember that I said in the beginning, this is not just about the few days where it's exact. Look for it to probably be flowing through at least until July. That's because that's a node of fate is still in Taurus then. So Jupiter will also be blessing you here for a year. So I'm just going to say, expect this to extend. I should have said in this beginning, at least a year. So this is a blow up, glow up, flow up in your 9th house. You may expand things by getting opportunities to go to a foreign land, win in a court case, get a book published, or become a superior success story in your academic environment. As well, you can see that Venus in the 11th house is looking over her shoulder. This is great gains from your career, but also favors from friends who are allies or an elder sibling favoring you. Maybe saying, let's take a trip abroad, or an elder sibling or a friend going into a longer arc of support around your academic environment and what you're wishing to achieve. Saturn is also bucking in to pitch down and help out, and he is in that flow to Jupiter and the North Node, and he's basically saying, hey, why don't I lend you some support by fortifying and strengthening your significant love and business partnerships, as well as maybe significant clients? And he's doing that for 3 years. It's a bit of a make or break in rotting wood relationships, where he'll kick out the foundation and build again with somebody new or something new. But if you're in a good, solid relationship, or you just need to strengthen a good one that's been a little bit weak, that's what's happening here until 26. But the interesting part of the story is, during this particular window of May 30th to June the 3rd, and maybe take it out about a year, you've got some kind of superior success regarding marriage partners and business partners, and foreign lands, foreign shores, academia, court matters, and book publishing or spiritual community. I don't know, that square from Pluto in your 6th house Could be the death of a pet in the months that follow, and that wouldn't surprise anyone. But it could also be about some kind of dramatic change regarding things to do with your relationship to a father figure, a karmic debt completed, or maybe even something to do with the end of a tenancy situation, because Pluto is pretty well squaring off here with Jupiter. Alrighty. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. If you're a Libra, sun, moon, or rising, this is an aversion to you. You don't get to witness it directly. You see what I mean? You're here. This is across the way. This is where your peripheral vision is. But nonetheless, it is happening in a chunky money house, as I always call it. And that means it's about inheritances, and it's about tax rebates, and it's about credit cards, and it's about loans and mortgages and leveraging money. It's about your spousal shared resources, including alimony, palimony, spousal support, and all of those goodies. I think I said inheritance. This is an inheritance transit for Libras. Jupiter will be here for a year until next May. It could lead to an inheritance. There's no doubt about it. At this point, this is kicking off some energy in this inheritance house. Shocking, unexpected news or surprises are available to you, courtesy of Uranus and Mercury, but it feels positive because Saturn is supporting this from your 6th house, and you could pay off a debt very quickly or have a positive chunk of money arrive that allows you to buy an expensive pet or even upgrade your property rental or secure a new tenant, especially since Saturn rules your 4th house of land and real estate. Some of you could even end up buying a property from this energy in the months that follow. With this energy, Venus says, I like to help out from the 10th house. This is going to bolster your career and reputation. And because Saturn's involved from the 6th again and Venus from the 10th, it could be a new job opportunity spitting out of this few days or a few months afterward. That's going to be very lucrative for your longer term finances. You may also find, however, with Pluto in a square to this event from the 5th house, there could be some difficult circumstances to do with fertility, children, romance, and pregnancy, really intensifying a bit because there's a opposition to Venus, the goddess of sexuality and romance, and they're both squaring off with Jupiter. So watch for some romantic tension in particular around June, well, let's just say May the 30th to June the 3rd. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. If you are a Scorpio, this energy is activating your marriage house across the way, like the Taurus, like the Leo and the Aquarius. And Taurus, you are one of the angular houses getting the whole damn shebang of intensity, especially in the first 5 degrees of Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. You feel it the most. But all Scorpios will feel this incredible momentum, and it is in the house of your spouse or your significant long-term committed love story, business partners, and audience and clients. Now, it could be like there's a massive expansion of your client base, or you get an amazingly powerful client coming to you, or that your marriage type partner has this amazing, exciting, sudden news, right? Uranus, shocking news, but wow, it's so positive. News could involve foreign lands, book publishing, academia. Venus is involved in that house. It's also support for Saturn to stabilize things to do with pregnancy and fertility. Like, honestly, could your partner be telling you she's pregnant if you're the he? This is also a situation where you're trying to stabilize your creativity, you're trying to stabilize your art and muse, and you could get a contract, an unexpected development. You could get somebody wanting to take you on like an agent or a middleman. That's Venus in the 9th. You also have the idea here that you might stabilize a business that you've been entrepreneurial endeavor you've been putting together, and you might get your first big client or expand your clients over the months that follow. And this is exciting, and this is really good energy for all of those things. Certainly, it's also good for legal contracts and agreements and winning in court and even unexpected beneficent wins, especially if it's a female judge. All right, Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. What's going on is that this aversion to who you are, you can't really witness it. See, you look straight across, but over here in the peripheral vision, can't really witness it. It's a Taurus zone. It's your 6th house. It's a difficult house, Dastana house in India, but it also is very much about service and how you wish to be of service to the world, not servitude, but it used to be called the house of slavery. It also is a place where you work. You work hard here. It's your job, it's your colleagues, it's your health and health routines. It's things to do with pets and tenancies, whether you're the tenant or the landlord. It's that energy of leases and stuff like that. So debts as well, karmic and real. So there's a lot going on there. Possibly there's a sudden ability to pay off a debt. Possibly there's a sudden opportunity to rent a property. Possibly there's a sudden opportunity regarding a pet situation. Possibly it's dating. You can date here because it's a prelude to the house of commitment. Possibly there's exciting dating things going on as a result of this Jupiter-Rahu conjunction. You could also have unexpected, exciting news about a pet, about a rental opportunity, about a debt elimination, especially the debt elimination. You want to pay down that credit card, you want to knock off that mortgage, or mortgage information, penancies and debts, and property and land and real estate all involved. Venus in the house of mortgages, Saturn in the house of property and real estate, Mercury over here, whipping up a deal. So some good news going on in this part of your sky as well. Saturn is in the house of mom and dad, usually the house of the mother. There may be some information, news, excitement going on with a parent, and it may be impacting you financially in a very positive way because Venus is in the house of that chunky money. This is definitely a good transit for getting a raise, a promotion that's pretty well unexpected, having the boss favor you in a work situation, for example. If you're self-employed, and some of you, maybe it's not about that. This is good for the job upgrade, that kind of thing. Alrighty, moving on. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising. Well, as you can see, you're in an earth trine to this. It's flowing in earth to earth trine, right? 120 degrees away. Or if you're counting houses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses away, counting the first house. This opens up some prosperity and luck and goodness flowing back at you from the fifth house of romantic love, independent business, entrepreneurial stuff, creativity and the muse, sexuality and romance, certainly pregnancy and fertility. Any of those is going to be expanded, exciting, unexpected, and even the word news. And you also can see that Venus in the house of your significant other flows to this one. And therefore, again, this is one of those ones that is, oh my God, honey, we're pregnant. But it can also look like with Venus in your seventh house during this in a whole sign sextile, it can look like some really good news that is about your partner, not necessarily about you, but it impacts you in a positive, joyful, leisure travel, fun, and sexual play way. If you're a creative artist, this is going to expand your muse on steroids. And you may also have a female who is an agent or somebody who wants to help you, or a client or somebody female supporting your creativity in the wake of this event. I think that with Saturn in the third house, there could be some opportunity to travel, to study something that's a skills-based education, or even perhaps to have a sibling support you, especially a younger sibling, but any sibling actually giving you some sort of a boost here. And you might feel like, oh, lucky, because fifth house is lucky. Like I won the lottery on this one. You definitely can look at this as if you're traveling, it's probably not too far away. And with Saturn in Pisces with Neptune, it may be something as well to do with your online world. Neptune rules videography and TikTok and all those channels, YouTube. And you may have some positive development going on here to do with your online world if you're a Capricorn online and the online world matters to you. And it may be bringing you some new abilities to perform, to be creative, to be on the stage, to be seen in the world, or to reach a larger audience. Aquarius, I am one of you, sun, moon, and rising. Well, we sure can witness it. Like the Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo, we get the most bang for the buck here. We're really being impacted quite directly by this. Now, in the energy of this, what I'm seeing is that we are likely to have some exciting positive developments around our home. Jupiter in our fourth house until next May is expanding our home. Live long and prosper. Live long and prosper in our home. Bigger home, larger home, more elegant home, prosperous home, prospering from home. And this is going to give us a jolt around the 27th to the, well, I may say the 30th of May to the 3rd of June, where we really feel some exciting news and developments coming through here. Woohoo! Sun is in your fifth house of lottery wins, and Mercury is the one with the shocking news. And I was going to do a whole video on the Mercury conjunction, but just to tie it in here, yeah, maybe some of you are going to win the lottery as a result of Mercury's pending conjunction with Uranus. Well, the Sun is still in the lottery win house. Also, this can be some blessings that are happening in your finances with earnings and money that you make. Saturn is stabilizing us over the next 3 years, giving us a longer term arc for stability and perseverance, but also reliable income, steady income, less work, more was work, but it's smart work. And Neptune is helping stabilize our spiritual component of our work, or our visions and dreams. So Saturn here at this time is going to look over at this event, and he's in the house of Jupiter, trying to be a good boy and do the good things. And so Jupiter may say, we're expanding our prosperity at home from the home, may involve land, property, real estate. And Saturn says, okay, no problem. We're going to rustle up the money for what we need to do, or we're going to make sure the money flow supports that, not just in the short term. This could be a story that lasts a year. And then we also could say that Venus in the 6th house says, I got the perfect rental, the perfect pet, the perfect debt elimination, even sudden debt elimination. Anyone? Because Mercury rules your 8th house and Venus is in the house of debt. So some of you may have a sudden opportunity to eliminate any debts, credit cards, etc., mortgages, any loans that you may have. Even somebody who owes you money may suddenly just give you money back and you forget all about it. And this could be a very short-term, acute yay moment for you. I think there with Neptune also in the same place as Saturn, I will tell us, Aquarius, as we've been through that for 2011 till now. We have a lot of visions, dreams, and goals, but we're confused, unsure, and fogged out about our best earning strategy and the best way to make money. And that's no longer true. Saturn is clearing the fog. And so a real clarity can emerge from this about the best way to prosper. But again, all that real estate, home, and home life is essential. Some of you may decide to quit your job and work from home. So set up a home-based business, or win the lottery and just go ahead and have a prosperous home. It is kind of an exciting transit to get a new pet if you're in a condition to get one, and bring a beautiful new super yay pet home that Venus would say, can we bring a pet to my house over here? I promise we'll make sure that we're able to support the pet financially. All right, first and always first is the Pisces of the world. Pisces, sun, moon, and especially rising. So you're one of those people who gets a sextile relationship, or a Venusian flow called a sextile, from your house to the house where this is happening. Siblings, travel, skills-based education, the online world, your daily routine sometimes. This is all going to have a very exciting energy for you. Yeah, like, I don't know, it could be like, the end of May, the first week of June, but it could last a year. And there's a bit of exciting news, right? Uranus, unexpected, exhilarating. Mercury, information, news. 3rd house, siblings. 3rd house, a trip. Support is coming from Saturn, and you are Saturn. You're owning Saturn. You're becoming more realistic, capable, sober-minded, less indecisive. No more fishy tails going in 2 directions. You're acting more like the elder. You're feeling older sometimes. This is here for 3 years, but you don't mind it anymore because you realize you have mastery and wisdom and sage-like countenance. And as Saturn goes through here, joining the enlightenment transit of your life, this is Neptune starting in 2011, trying to enlighten and awaken you to spiritual truth. Saturn is going to ground that and make it stable. And as Saturn is sitting here in this part of your sky, he supports the Jupiter Rahu thing because he's in Jupiter's house and says, okay, let me help out. I'm applying an applied sextile to this Jupiter story. And later in the month, Jupiter will sextile of June directly Saturn and complete that narrative. So what could be going on here is some unexpected, exciting opportunity to travel, or news from a sibling that's going to bring you some 5th house stuff. Money, luck, anyone? Winning the lottery, anyone? More, or new romance, a romantic trip, a trip that brings in a new romance, a new creative project, more joy, fun, play, pleasure, a sexual a trip that invites you to some extreme sexual joy and pleasure. These are all possible. I mean, Saturn is in a whole sign trine to Venus, and there's also baking in enduring love, lasting love. This is not a fling. There's no flinging in this sky for the Pisces. There's something about taking an existing relationship maybe to the new level, but certainly if it's new, it will end up looking like a very longer lasting connection. Now, Venus can bring fertility and pregnancy, and just be careful if you or your partner aren't wanting a baby. This could be that as well. And the sudden shock and awe is you get the pregnancy test results while you're on a trip. So yeah, be careful if you're not making a baby on purpose. Try not to make a baby. Otherwise, go for it. And I think mostly with Pluto in a square from the 12th house, it's your own junk in the trunk, your own self-sabotaging, self-defeating junk in the trunk that could qualify this as a difficult time. Look at your own unconscious, look at your own self-defeating patterns. But Pluto is somebody wealthy in a foreign land. So some of this trips, travel stuff, or siblings in a foreign land, can be wealth from a foreign land supporting some unexpected opportunities for money, luck, and travel, just to spin it in a positive way. Okay, I hope that was helpful. I hope you enjoyed that. I really wish you all the best. If you haven't liked I forgot to remind everybody to hit the like button in the premiere. You guys, I keep forgetting to hit the like button. I forgot to remind you all the way through. Please hit the like button if you were in the premiere live with me. I'm heading out today with my soulmate James, and we're going to have a dinner and a nice time out together on May the 23rd. I'll have this out to you on YouTube, maybe on the weekend towards the 25th or so, because my Patreon community gets it before you for $5 a month without the ads. And if that at all intrigues you, please think about going for it. Check my description box for everything I have to offer. Earrings by Milena Devi of Goddess Treasure Co. on Etsy. But don't worry, I'll have a link to her earrings in the description box. Milena is the wife of my former husband, the Capricorn guy I'm always talking about. I think I like her more than him. Anyway, have a great day, everyone. Ciao, ciao.